We're starting the second step and third step I'm going to do today also of your little practice project that we started yesterday. I won't be here on Monday, so I expect you guys to do this part or part of this on Monday, and I'm giving you the YouTube so you can follow that. So we set up 4 shapes. We're going to there it is, do something like this. You can make it animate any way you want. I'm just going to teach you like basic movement, and then we're going to just create some basic colors for it, okay, on our setup. We have to go over here and set it up as well, okay. So we're going to go ahead and I'll use, I guess I could use this one. Or let's see, do I have one that I like better? I'm just kind of going through these to see if there's one that I like better. I like this one better. Alright, so first things first, we gotta like create what are called child-parent objects. There's no grandchildren or cousins, this is child and parent, and basically what it is to keep things together, to group them together so they stay together, so you can color them together, so you can animate them together, and that kind of thing. And so what we're going to do is you're going to learn how to do that. So you're going to put all this stack together and lock it together, because right now the cube is separate and you can move it around separately, and the spheres are separate. We want to lock together each little setup, okay. So the first one, if you went like counterclockwise or clockwise, the first one of each should be in the stack. So the cube, the sphere here, and the cone. Cube 1, sphere 1, and cone 1 should all go together. Cube 2, sphere 2, and cone 2 should all go together, and cube 3, sphere 3, and cone 3 should all go together. And you can see, like, I can click on these and see, like, we'll go to cube 3 since it's way over there, and sphere 3, and then cone 3. I can click on each one, and when I select it over here, it turns gold, and it tells me which one is selected by showing me the axes, okay? So we want to put these together and keep these stacks that we've created together instead of apart like they are. And this is something you're going to commonly do. So basically I can go to the cube, and that will be the parent, and then the sphere is the next one, so I want to put the sphere inside of the cube. And so you click and hold down, and you drag down, and you see how there's this little white arrow there? Let's zoom in. So when I click and drag down, there's a little, when the white arrow points to the left, that means it's going to go that place in the stack. That's not what I'm trying to do. You can rearrange your stacking order. What I want to do is put it inside the cube. So when I click and hold down my mouse and I drag and I touch the word cube, the little box with the white arrow there that appeared is pointing downwards, and that's an indicator that it means it's going in that. And so it'll indent it in like an outline indents, and like a filing system indents like your computer, and you can roll it up with this little plus sign right there to save space and that kind of stuff. Now those two are stuck together, they're parent-child objects, and the idea is the baby is in the mom's womb, and wherever the mom goes, the baby goes with her. So if mom gets on a bus and animates away, the baby will animate because it's inside the mom. So that's a child-parent object. It's a way of grouping things together. They call it child-parent. So I want to put the cone, the original cone, and I know that's the right one because I can click on it, inside the sphere as a child. Okay, so now that whole setup, if I want to move it around or scale it or destroy it or fill it with color, I could go and select the parent object, and the whole thing goes with it, even the sphere and the cone. All right, so you understand that's a way of of keeping things together. So if I made a purpley color and I put the purple color on the cube, they all get painted. If I only want the purple color on the cone that has a little hat, then I only put the purple color on the hat. So you can still affect it individually, but you can also affect it as a group. So it's a very handy dandy thing to do. All right, so the next one, let's do that, and then we'll make some colors, then we'll animate it, is Cube 1. So Cube 1 will get Sphere 1 as a child. So you click on Sphere 1, touch the word cube, and you want to make sure, you got to look at that little white arrow there. And you're like, what white arrow? I don't see white arrow. Right here, this little white arrow with the box right there that's going up and down. That little white arrow, when you're touching the word or the icon of the one you want to put it into, with your black arrow, it will face down, indicating it'll go in. If it's going to the left, then you're just moving it around in the stack. And if you put it in the wrong shape, you can always drag it out. Okay, so if like I put it down here, I can drag it back out, I can put it inside the cube. All right, so Sphere 2 goes inside of, Cone 1 will go inside as a child to Sphere 1. So they're not, you can put them in as equal children, but what you want to have is one is a child to the next. So the cone is in the sphere, is in the cube. All right, so memorize that. All right, so then Sphere 2 will go into Cube 2, Cone 2 will go into Sphere 2, and they're all numeric. So you know the 3's go together, the 2's go together, the 1's go together, that kind of thing. So it becomes a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so Cube 3 is the last one, and now they're all set up. Let's make our colors, and then we'll animate it. So to make color, we'll just start with something basic. Don't get too carried away. We have a bunch of preset ones if you want to explore under presets, but right now let's just make some new, like paint, you know, basic colors. So you're going to go to new materials. So you're going to go down to your materials palette down here, and where it says create new material, you're going to make a new material, and it appears as a default white sphere with shading on it. So it's not gray, it's just, it has like lighting on it, which will give it a highlight and a shadow. So you double click on that sphere. Just click, and that opens up a separate material editor window, which you can move around and position where you want. And it has all these options to the side to create all kinds of advanced materials. And remember, everything's a material: fire, smoke, fur, rocks, trees, plants, wood, metal, paint, whatever it's going to look like, that's a material. And the person that makes those is called a texture artist, and it's a separate job in the industry. Anyways, we're going to go to where it says color, and the check mark means it's on. The color, when it's gold, means it's selected. And to get to this color wheel, you have a full spectrum, and then you have lightness and darkness on a slider over here to the side. So you can make it dark or light or whatever you want. And you just click and hold down and slide. To get to this color wheel, all you have to do is click on this little box right there. Otherwise, it'll give you like this rainbow weird slider thing, and some people don't really acclimate to that well. So I would just click on the color wheel right here. This is your color wheel. This little thing right there. That right there. Click on it, color wheel, move it around, pick your color, and then you can pick the lightness and color, darkness of your color. If I already made a color, I could double click on it and I can continue to edit it. So if I wanted it to be more of a royal purple or a bluish purple, I can go over there and make that a bluish purple. If I want to make a new one, I could just close that. I go create, new material. You'll need, however many you need. I don't really, just make a few. Okay, so you click on the color wheel, get your color. The closer you get to the center, the whiter it gets. So let's say if I want a nice soft lemon yellow, and then I go down here and make new material. So you can just keep it open. Orange is my favorite color, so I'm going to go and make a nice pumpkin-y orange, and then new material. Let's say we need a green. I'm colorblind, I can't see green at all, but I know where it is. So I'm going to make a green. And maybe a black. You know what? My orange is kind of ready. I'm gonna jack it up to make it more orangey. Here we go. So black would be just down here at the bottom, black. And then if you wanted a white, you just leave it in the center here, and then take your lightness, darkness, and put it up there, so that's white. So now I have all my colors that I want to use, and I can start colorizing these things. So to color stuff, so create new material. To color stuff, you just drag the color, hold down your mouse button, and drop it on the word or the icon of the object you want to put it on. Now remember, if you put it on a parent object, it'll color the children. But if you want the children to be colored afterwards, you could go ahead and this drag and put it on individual elements. Okay. So now they all have their own. I would probably start with a cone and work your way up to the cube, and that way you won't get confused. So drag and put your color on each one. And so when I mean drag, you click and you hold down. So you go to the mat down there and you click on it. You hold down your mouse, and then you drag it and you drop it over here on the word. So you put your black arrow or on the word or the cone icon here. I'm over here now. And let go, and it will fill in with that color. And if you want to replace a color, and it'll appear as a sphere tag or a texture tag. And if you want to replace one, you just click and drag and drop it on the old one, and it will replace it. I don't have enough orange. We'll make the sphere there orange. Okay, and then now I have a bunch of different colored stuff. All right, now to animate it, it's super easy. You have a timeline down here, and this timeline has a little green nub that's called your scrubber, and these numbers are basically frames. And in animation, there's always a beginning keyframe and an ending keyframe for movement or physical things. So it's a beginning and an ending, and basically you tell the beginning where to start in time. So I can start it at like 5 frames in, or 0 frames, or 10 frames in, or whatever, and then I tell it where to end. So that will give me how long the animation will be. So you always have a beginning and and an ending keyframe, and then the computer does all the in-between frames for you. So if I create an animation on frame 0 and then I end it on frame 20, those are the keyframes, and then frames 1 through 19 are the in-between frames. In the past, like traditional Disney Mickey Mouse animation, it was 24 frames per second, and the artist had to draw each frame. So imagine, like, just for a second of video, there was 24 frames, so that's 24 drawings. That's why the computer took over, and that's why 3D took over, because you don't have to draw that many. The computer does it all. It's way more capable. All right, so when we animate these things, you can animate them as you see fit. Okay, go to town. So let's take the first one, and we'll just animate the whole stack together. Okay, and then we'll worry about like different animations for it. So I select the cube, and this is your manual keyframe right here. This key with a red button. That's how you record it. That's a keyframe, is a recording of a time and a physical state. The little green nub in your timeline is how you tell the computer where to do that, where to record it, and the timeline. Okay, and so I'm going to just start with frame 0. Okay, over here, and I'm going to select my parent object, and I want to animate it. Well, you have to animate its beginning state. So that's the beginning keyframe. So its beginning state is here at that point in the grid. So I'll just go down here and click on the button and record that state. And when you record it, it'll show you a little green nub at the bottom. That's the keyframe. which you can actually move if your timing was off. Okay, when you select it, it turns gold like that. So now I want to record the second state. Where is it going to go? What is it going to do? And what time will that take place? So I go down here to my scrubber and I scrub to, let's say, frame 25. Or let's just do, yeah, let's do frame 25. Or no, let's do frame 50. So it's kind of like, we have 90 frames, so we'll do 45, halfway. All right, so and then where I want it to do is simply just move over here. Okay, and so I'm moving the cube. All the children go with it. I'm using my moving tool. I move it by the red arrow, and I now want to record that new position. So I recorded its beginning position at frame 0 down here by clicking on the red button right there with the key on it for keyframe. And then I scrub to frame 45, so I put it on, I have to first tell it where to do the next thing. And that will be the ending of the animation. And I'll move it over here. And when I move it, I'm moving it by the parent object so the children go with it. And now I record that state. It'll give you a little kind of like dashy dotted line to indicate that it's moved. Now, let's say we want to move it back to where it was. So I have to first tell the computer when will that take place. So I have to scrub first. You always scrub first. And so I'm scrubbing over to frame 90, and then I'm going to physically move it back to that position and then record that. So now I can use my little player controls, and we have a rewind all the way to the back, and I can hit play and it goes over there. Now the more frames you have in between keyframes, the slower it is because there's more time. Remember, it's 24 frames per second, so this is like 1,000, 2,000, like 2 seconds. And then the fewer frames, the faster it is. So let's make a faster animation next. So let's scrub. We've completed that animation. So this has a beginning keyframe at 0, an ending keyframe at 45. The 45 is also a beginning keyframe for the next animation, which is at frame 90, and that'll be the ending keyframe. So you always have to record the time and the physical state. That's what the keyframes do. All this, everything in between these little keyframe nubs down there, and I can change it. So like if I put that, like if I drag that all the way to 85, it will be slower and then speed back because there's fewer frames and more frames. Okay, so I'm gonna put it back in 45. All right, let's do the next one. So we're gonna go to the next cube, and I will have that one go forwards, backwards. So I'll start it at frame 0. So this is a new animation, so I can scrub back to the beginning because I'm doing the next stack over here. So I select it first, and then I record its beginning state, which is usually wherever you're doing in the beginning. So which is nothing. It's starting from that spot. So I'm going to record it, and then I have to decide what it's going to do. So I'm going to say at frame we're 20, it's going to move. So I scrub first to the frame where I want to have it take place, and then I push it over, and then I record that, and then I scrub, and then I move it, and then I record it. I scrub, I do whatever I'm going to physically do to it, and then I record it. Okay, and then I scrub, and then we'll just put it back to where it was, and I record it. So now we have 2 different movements. And it just loops over and over again. So it'll rewind and start over again. So when you're ready, you got to be conscious of your scrubber. If you just start like willy-nilly kind of click, 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 click on the recording of the keyframer right there, the manual keyframer, and there's an easier way of keyframing, which we'll learn later, but if you just start clicking and you're not paying attention to where this little green scrubber is, you're going to be like, your time is going to be all over the place. So it's linear time. It starts, how much time is it going to last, and then that's why you have a timeline. Understand? So we'll scrub back to 0, and we'll do the next stack. All right, this one back there. Okay, and so that one, I'm going to start it there, so I'm going to record it. I'm going to go to frame, 35 and lift it up and record that. So I'm going to scrub first with the scrubber, then move the animation or do the whatever I'm going to have it do, bounce or move or twirl or whatever, and then record it. And then I'm going to scrub it, do the movement, record it, scrub it, do the movement, record it. So scrub, move, record, scrub, move, record. And then you just keep rewinding back to 0 for each different one. Okay, so we have one more there. I guess the last one, I will just have it, I'll have the thing do the whole, I'll do the whole thing again, and then we'll go in and do individual ones. So that one, we'll just say it starts there. I'll record it, so I'll scrub over to whatever frame 30 and have it move this direction. Oops, that's too far. And record it, and then I'll have it go back and record it, and then maybe I'll have it come forward and record it, and then go back and record it. And so now we can rewind and hit play. Okay, and like, you know, have some fun with it. So next, let's make the other ones do some individual stuff. So we'll go back to the original stack. So we did the whole parent animation, which takes everything with it. But what if we gave like the individual pieces animation? What would happen? Well, they're being dragged left and right and up and down and stuff, so it would happen while that was happening. All right, so I'm going to go select the cone now, and we'll start at beginning. And the cone, I'm going to record its beginning position, which is there, and then I'll have the cone, I don't know, frame 45. I'll have it go straight up and record it, and then I'll scrub ahead. See how I went up there, but it goes with it. Okay, so then I can have it come. Oops, I scaled it. I'll have it come down and then record it. So scrub, move, record, scrub, move, record. Okay, and then maybe we could go to that one, and it's moving all over the place. So let's see what it does. It's going up and down. So the one in the back with the yellow cone on top only goes up and down. Let's make it actually move left and right, so we can scrub ahead here. I have to scrub my animation to see, because I don't want it to pass through the other object. So at this point, I'm going to have the whole thing move over here and record it. And then at this point, it goes back and then down. And then at this point, I'll have it, so I'll scrub ahead, I'll move it over again and record it, and then I scrub and it goes back. Alright, so let's go to the green, let's go to the purple and yellow sphere and cone, which is right here. So if I move the sphere, it takes the cone with it, because the cone is a child to it. Alright, so I'll record its beginning position, so I scrub back to 0. I will have it go up and record it, so scrub, move, record, and then when it goes back over there, I'll have it move back down and record it. Alright, so now we have it doing all kinds of different stuff. The only one I don't like is this one. I moved it too far back. What can I do to undo that? you can click on the little nub and hit delete, and it will delete that keyframe. Or if you go to that keyframe and select it and put the scrubber there, you can actually physically alter that step. So I'm going to record over it by moving it back to where it should be, because I moved it too far. So I hit re-record on top of it. So if you record on top of an already existing keyframe, you'll record over it and replace it. All right, so now I have animation. So do you have to do all that? No, I'm just, have fun with it. Do whatever you want. If you just want to have them move from side to side or up and down, have them move up and down. Okay, it's just a practice exercise, so you don't have to do. I did more than I need to. All right, and so this is the project that you will complete by the end of Monday. So I'm not going to be here Monday, so that I'm giving you your lecture now, and then I will give a portion of this lecture today, but the other half you're going to have to go to the YouTube and listen to that, okay, and watch that. So this should be done. Now, how are we going to save this? You'll save whatever we do today as step 2, and then you'll save whatever you finish on Monday as step 3. And I will see you in class. Your first week is over. Good job.